on the airship, the Greyfly, and I believe it takes you a few hours to get home. So how about we just kind of skip ahead a little bit to you guys being home? I think by this point in the day, considering I said your fight was sort of in the morning, we'll say it's kind of mid-afternoon, getting towards evening, but not quite there.
The trip by the Mayfly is a few days, though, right? So we've had like a day to
Is it?
rest.
No, not to get
I
here.
believe it's a
It was
few hours.
It was like, I think to get here it was most of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
To get to Berlin it was a few hours. To get here it was most of the day. The ship goes very quickly.
So we have not recovered spell slots, is what I'm asking.
No, you have not.
Gotcha.
Thanks for having my back down.
No problem. But we see the grey storm.
Yeah, so it's blue and black. It's not grey. It's on brand. So yeah, you see this huge thunderhead kind of rising above you, and it's like no storm you've ever seen. It's this wall of black. You know, it's like that scene in, to be honest, almost pick a film, but I'm thinking the one in Pacific Rim, where it's just that wall of clouds and blackness, and the clouds are so thick that they look like they're solid, and there's just this blue lightning that arcs down over and over and over again, with more frequency than you would expect from a normal storm. And it looks like it's slowly rolling forward, and there's a darkness that kind of spreads out from it. This is clearly an unnatural weather pattern, something that fills you all with dread as evening draws in. So it's probably kind of our equivalent of like 5:30, I'll say, in the evening, and you guys kind of arrive back in the keep. What would you like to do?
How far is this from the keep?
It's very hard to judge, because it's very hard to judge how far a cloud is away. But it looks like it's closer to you than the hinterlands, which was about a few days march.
And is it overlaying like some of the Ulfanger land, or is it
not quite? Because the Ulfanger forest is south of you. Okay. Yeah, so it's not quite there. To the north. No, although the Ulfanger forest starts south of you, but part of it does go further north than you. So that is a viable question, but not quite.
Okay, so it's going to hit us before it hits Ulfanger.
Yeah. Okay. Well, technically no, but yeah. If that makes sense. Like so the Ulfanger part of the forest does come further north than you are, but like that's just part of the forest. Not many.
It's not where they live.
None of the it's not where their kind of settlement is. Yeah.
Okay.
So Byron, like, pulling on some ropes or something, like an old sea captain, like looks out into the distance. And he look, I don't know if people are like dismounting or if we're all kind of still on deck, but he looks to the others and goes, "Do you think Evelyn brings her domain to ours?"
Does it look like anything else?
Yeah, so you didn't necessarily see a storm,
but it was all shadowy, cloudy.
But it's all... Yeah, it's this. The whole sky looked like a black kind of massive cloud. And like the thing is, you guys sort of have seen every time chaos comes up, it's this bright sapphire against like the pit of blackness, right? So there's this black and blue kind of swirling pattern, and that's what you're seeing with this storm. All of you absolutely believe that this is without prepping. Yeah, this is a chaotic force.
It's certainly not natural.
We bought some of those little idols that generated the shield around.
You did,
the library. We brought them home, but we had enough. There were some kept by the library to keep it active.
Yeah, so I believe you destroyed one of them, and there was 3 remaining. Oh no, there was 2 remaining, wasn't there?
Yeah,
And
we got 2.
you kept 1, and did you leave 1 to protect the library?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm absolutely
so.
certain.
Yeah.
Because Byron wanted exclusive access to that library, so he kept access cut off.
Because you had the teleportation circle in the library like activated so that people could go in and research that. So yeah, you've got 1 of them.
I think, didn't we in a downtime try to craft a new one? I can't remember.
You definitely brought it up.
I'll check the document real fast.
The width of that bubble from 1, maybe 2 that we have created, does it encompass the entire colonized Frosthaven, or is it big enough for the keep?
No, it's not big enough for the entirety of Frosthaven. Like 3 of them were covering just the library, which is probably slightly bigger than the keep.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get a kind of flickery shield around the keep. I'll say.
So of the keep in the inner area, you know, like the pub and stuff, or just the keep as
Yeah. So I'm classing the keep as like the actual building, the kind of courtyard with the Blissful Mistress, the locks where kind of a lot of your mooks is.
Yes.
Workshop is in the courtyard.
And enough space to moor the airship.
Yeah.
Underneath.
Yeah. You can get that under there.
Okay. It looks to be still some days away, but we have to be prepared for everyone to shelter in the keep underneath the protection of those statues.
Out of character, whatever, we did do Arcana rolls, me and Byron, for it, but the results are not in the public document, so that might be in something that's DM only.
Okay, what? I mean, I don't have any notes. What were the rolls? Do you have the results?
28 and a 19. No, a 28 for Byron. I don't have. No.
Right.
Yeah, 28 for Byron.
You don't have it because or did you give him advantage because you were helping? Maybe.
No, he rolled a 19, so he had a 28 whenever he did his roll. I don't have my results. My results are not in the document.
Then roll it now.
In a second.
Roll it now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Oof.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm pretty sure I rolled better back then. But,
well, if you'd have made note of it, then...
8. I mean, I could inspire myself now, but I couldn't have inspired myself back then. So, yeah, 8.
Okay.
I'm trying to get to it in my notes at least.
Well, I was gonna just take an average, which is 18. So
bring my average down, damn it.
I remembered rolling pretty well. But
oh, that's good.
Yeah,
because I remember you rolling really badly myself. So no, we'll say that's enough. You can create an object with a similar enchantment to help strengthen the shield around you.
Okay. So yeah, he says we have to be prepared for them to shelter in the keep and under the statue's protection. Has anyone been to the library? I have to go. And like he's going to try and dismount from the ship and find his students to see if anyone has visited the library. And if
I mean,
and Elishan is going to like kind of look around, like as he's like, I gotta go, and then she's gonna like realize, like look around on the ship and like look to Rose, and then look around again and be like, "Where's Remy?" Because
I didn't see him slip away.
Yeah.
So let's pause there. Remy, where are you?
Remy was last seen going to his room to be by himself for the flight.
Elishan will go there looking for him, I guess. And
not in his room.
Did he leave anything behind?
Doesn't seem to have.
Are any of us? Well, I mean, we were just traveling, but there's like nothing left behind in his little cabin on the Greyfly.
No.
Okay.
It looks as though Remy was never there.
She'll kind of come back out looking at Rose and be like, he's not in there. We didn't see him leave the ship.
Nope.
Even with my passive perception of 23, I didn't see him leave the ship.
You did not. Because he, well.
Bastard. Sneaky little shit.
This is not the time for him to be doing these things.
He had the key, didn't he?
He did.
Okay. It was kind of out loud to Rose.
He had the key.
He had the key, and he's not here. Okay.
Well, Byron's intent on going to the library, and we need to make sure we have shelter for the civilians.
Right.
I was going to check with my students to see who had been to the library to see if it's still standing and if the shields are still protecting it, because then I know whether we can survive. But I'm not going. I
believe you let the dwarves.
They have access
to the library,
but they were agreed access. But I was planning on, filtering it through me.
Yeah, it's up to you if they've been actually granted the access yet, or if it's just you can have access at some point. Would Byron have given them access yet? Because as soon as you give them access, they're going.
What Byron wanted was to create a controlled ability to go and look at the books and then bring them to Haven and have them, categorized. So his students were probably in charge of that. And really what he would like is to have built his halls and then to get a permanent teleportation circle there. So the dwarves can only go under supervision, and I'm not sure we're entirely ready for them to go, but if you want them to have gone, they could have.
No, they'd only go if you give them the ability to. So if they don't, would you have let your students go by themselves?
Yes, what I mentioned, because I've established that I wished my halls, and I've been given my halls and the title, that I was going to be the main research hub for that library. So my students, I think, would have been given the access to go and begin preparations, maybe with teams from primarily the Halls of Ivy, maybe. But I feel there is a communication there that they might have gone a lot. Teams might be coming in and out.
Yeah, they can definitely have been and gone a few times, and they will tell you that the protection still stands.
And you have been in the last few days. Did you ever look outside? Did you see the storm there?
Not the last few days, but last week we went and there was no storm.
Very well. And he kind of sweeps away because he doesn't know whether to teleport into deep into storm territory potentially or not.
I did describe it to you as it's past the hinterland, so if you go there, you'll be under the storm.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't think it is a wise move for him to teleport there and check blindly.
What about your little automaton?
Oh, wrong game.
I had the
library automaton.
The little library automaton.
With the soul of a wizard in it.
I don't know if I can. Can I telepathically, or can I send to that individual?
You can, but he's with you, and so if you wanted to get him there, he'd have to run, unless you're going to teleport with him there.
I can teleport an object. I don't know if I have to go with the object. That's a point. I can
let
go
me have a look. Oh, I'm to like the exact right page. Spell instantly transport you and up to 8 willing creatures or a single object you can see within range.
I suppose
that is quite ambiguous because it says you and up to 8 willing creatures of your choice or a single object.
Yeah, I don't know if the intention there is for me to go with the object or not. That's annoying. Can I? Is there any way that I can find out that the teleportation circle has gone down over there? Like if the magic is destroyed by the storm or not?
I will say you can make an Arcana check to attempt to basically like begin the teleportation spell, but not actually go through with it, so you can like see if it connects.
Sure, that would be really good because I have what it takes to go directly to that sigil, so I will know. Presumably,
yeah. So like you can kind of start the spell and be like, oh, okay, this would work if I wanted to go through with it or not.
I just crit that check.
Okay. Yeah.
The
sigil is fine.
The sigil is
unharmed.
Fine. Right.
Yeah.
So I know that hopefully the dome protects that. Okay. I'm gonna go back and try and find the others, and I will inform the. I'll ask the students as I'm there. Like, have they seen this storm coming? Has it been developing long?
The storm appeared 2 days ago. At first, it was very, very small and just looked like a regular storm. We didn't pay any heed, and neither did you when you were here. But then it just kept growing, and now it's this.
I'll say to them, I believe great things come this way, great and terrible things. And it's our duty to make sure that these people are safe. Prepare all the protective spells that you have.
They nod.
If it comes to it, we will evacuate. But not before then. I hope the dome will save us for now.
They sort of go off and begin like getting down all their abjuration textbooks.
Elishan is going to send cast sending and try and send Remy a message.
Nope.
Yep. Okay, that's what I thought. No, but had to, burn a 3rd level spell to make sure. God damn it! Damn it!
That was quite satisfying for me, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. And so, Rose is trying to get Elishan to help her with, evacuating things, and Elishan's just kind of like, shit.
Are you even listening to me?
What? Yes. These go in the locks, and she's like holding like a bundle of like booty socks for like children or something. Definitely not supposed to go in the soldiers' barracks.
No, we're putting that in the cavern.
Oh, right.
You're really not listening to me.
Well, I am now. Sorry. Try again.
We need to get the village to have an escape plan into the caverns. I think that's probably going to be the best place for them to be. It worked when Guy had attacked.
Right. I'll get Bazrag.
Makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'll get Bazrag. I'm sure that they can just use whatever system they had in place before, and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. If you see Byron, let him know that Remy's not on this plane anymore. Just
You're sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, I will go find him right now then.
Okay,
Right.
I'll take care of Bazrag.
Would we like to do Bazrag or Byron first?
Bazrag.
Bazrag.
Yep, Bazrag.
Yay!
Okay. So you find Bazrag, and he's drilling some of the younger members of the militia. Some kind of, they're like peasants who sort of joined or who came to Frosthaven with nothing to do, and so Bazrag has sort of taken them under his wing and begun training them. And they're still very, very new, and they're kind of hopeless. And like one drops his sword and all that sort of thing. They're a bit green, but he's doing his best. And he sort of bids them to spar while he turns to talk to you. Yes, Lady Alshan.
It's the storm that's coming. We think that it might bring bad tidings, and so we want to have the populace prepared for evacuation into the caverns, like we had before when with Gaiad. So
He nods.
Supplies. Okay.
I've already been discussing this with Craig.
Okay, good. That's good. You guys need anything?
To be honest, we need as much warning as possible. The more Frosthaven grows, the harder it gets to be able to protect everyone, to get everyone to safety, and it's getting harder. It's getting more difficult.
Can I make any kind of check to see how long we've got before it possibly hits us?
You can make a survival check.
Okay.
Or a nature check.
Go with survival. I'm gonna inspire myself. Give me that nice D20 or D10. Yeah, that's like it. That's more like it. That's 27.
So a normal storm traveling at this rate would be here in the next 3 or 4 days. And you think that that's accurate?
Looks like we'll have about 3 or 4 days. Are there enough food and supplies down in the caverns? Should we start moving anyone now?
People, not yet, but supplies definitely. We have a lot of supplies, but those supplies, they won't last forever. And I don't know how long you plan on battling against whatever this is, but we can't last very long.
If it's what I fear it is, hopefully, well, yes. Never mind. Just get what you can down there and let Craig know if there's any lack, and I'll let him know that he has authorization to make things happen.
Very well. Thank you, milady.
Right, and I'll go to do that with Craig.
Very well. So you find Craig in his office, read in paper, and you see him. The thing he's working on now is a sort of ledger of supplies, and he is kind of tallying up stuff and kind of working out like rations per person and how much each person needs and how long that will last them and that kind of thing. And he kind of looks up as you enter. Lady Elisha, how may I help you?
Wanted to speak to you about what it looks like you're working on already. I just wanted to let you know that we're starting preparations for getting supplies and things ready in the caverns in case we need to evacuate down there.
Good.
Because of the storm.
I believe that is the correct course of action.
Is there anything you need to get things done?
We've already begun the process. It is moving, but right now all we need is time. We need to be able to get everything we need down there and get everyone down there, and that takes time. And I fear it is time we do not have.
If it behaves like a normal storm, might have 3 days, but I wouldn't count on that. So whatever you need to do to get it done, just, make sure that our people are safe.
I will. Thank you, Lady Vessler.
Don't call me that. She kind of like points like a finger, but like she's not like upset, but and
He just nods.
And she will like do like a little awkward curtsy and then leave.
And he just immediately goes back to his book. Meanwhile, Rose finds Byron. What's Byron doing?
In the meantime, I don't know where Byron is. With the storm a few days out, is the wind still, whipped up? Slightly dramatically stormy.
It is, but it's not impeding movement. Like it is windy. The weather is sort of haywire, but it's not to the point where you feel unsafe or anything. It's just like, that scene in Harry Potter where Hagrid's like, "There's a storm coming,"
Yeah.
Where the weather is definitely unusual, but not dangerous.
So I think what has happened in the meantime is he's gone up to like one of the walls or something, and there's his coat whipping in the wind, and his hair got usually immaculate hair like whipping as well, and he is summoned Minerva, and then like whispered to her like, "You may save a great many lives. You know what you have to do." And he kind of, does that toss up into the air that you do with birds. And she's going to fly directly at the storm. And I'm going to try and gather as much data as I can, possibly. I know it's a couple of days away.
Yeah.
She's going to go forward.
It's a couple days march away, so she can definitely fly there within a day.
Sure.
And so I'll kind of give you that description No, I'll give you the description now, but
I don't have that information until
you maybe don't have that for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So the storm looks, again, like I said, it looks solid. It is thick and roiling, like a bubbling, angry liquid. There's blue lightning and flashes that kind of illuminate dark shapes in the clouds. Beneath the storm marches hundreds and thousands of just demonic, destroyed creatures. There is a group of 50 female hobgoblins, all turned black and blue with chaos energy, marching in a phalanx. There are trolls, there are giants, there are all manner of creatures, holy and unholy, who are corrupted and changed and tainted by the chaos, marching beneath this cloud. Above the cloud wheels, eagles and birds with feathers missing, all now that same swirling black and blue energy. There are hundreds of drakes with melting black and blue skin that seems to slough off their bodies and drip down like some kind of macabre rain as they fly, their skeletal bodies above, just kind of wheeling and waiting for the cloud to catch up. This is an army that approaches.
Oh, good. And I know none of this. Yeah, so Rose finds Byron having just launched his familiar into the stormy skies, and you possibly can still see it disappearing into the distance as he just watches it go.
She totes gets eaten by some kind of dragon thing, though, as well.
I mean, hopefully she spots the eagles. I mean,
no.
Owls have good eyesight.
She's
flies
yeah.
away.
You have quite the flair for dramatics there.
He turns to you, you know, the wind whipping around. I give the people what they want, and he smiles.
Elishon is seeing to the civilians that they have an evacuation plan to the caverns again and the supplies. She also asked me to inform you that Remy is not on this plane of existence.
In other news,
Of that, she is 100% certain.
Burying the lead a bit, but
Byron, like, his eyes widen more than you probably have seen before. I think you can read into him that he's more than a little panicked that he doesn't have Remy by his side. For he's got used to him there. What?
She also brought to my attention that, and reminded me that he had the key. I'm sure these 2 points are not unrelated in any way. Did he say anything to you? Has he said anything to you in the past?
I'm guessing absolutely not at all, Dylan. Rob, he would remember.
that's a shaking head from Dylan.
Okay. I mean, I was probably busy piloting the ship.
Too good to talk to him.
Too good. Don't want to crash.
No wonder he left.
That's harsh. You don't know the friendship that a man and his halfling have.
Actually, I do.
You have a halfling?
I do.
Okay.
his name is Remington.
Byron looks pale for a pale person. Much less dramatic than when you found him. He's gone, but
He has. And I have no idea how we can even go about attempting to locate him. Nothing in your history would give you a clue where he would think of going.
I mean, I have no idea where he might go on this plane, but halflings are humble folk. I don't think they mess with magic very often. Is he going to fight the fight alone against Evelyn?
I was going to say surely he wouldn't, and then I remembered who we were speaking about. I would hope he would not be that foolish.
Byron kind of like looks away from you and just like under his breath, just like he just says, "Brave." Like as a counterpoint, not necessarily arguing, but
Imagine Rose heard it and just not going to argue the point.
I mean, can travel back to the Goliaths. They might be able to scour the plains or locate their keys.
Do we have time for that?
I honestly can't remember whether I have teleports left or not. We did a lot of traveling by ship, so I can presume that.
Yeah,
maybe I do.
you've. I think. So last time you teleported to the family's house.
And then we rested
in Hummock, and then you rested. So yeah, we'll say you've just got the full 3.
Sure. I can be there in an instant.
I mean, I know.
His plane shift.
We don't know which plane he's gone to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
fucking where, Al?
If you find out from the Goliaths,
Yeah.
Where?
Yes.
down.
Yes. If we find out where, then yeah, that can be something that we do.
I mean, I know we have the resources, but we have responsibilities here.
We do, and plans are in place. I've checked the library, and it still stands. So either the storm did not originate that far north, or it survived. I can only presume those statues that we've gathered will protect us further, or for some time. I've sent Minerva to scout. She'll return in a day, and we'll have information before the storm hits.
Not the best solution, but still, information is more than we have. We probably should also notify the Elfhanger as well.
Very true. On the giant's migratory path since the siege, did they head north, or were they going south?
They headed back north. They came south for the winter, but after winter they headed back north.
We should speak to the giants. The storm possibly has already washed over their position. They might be able to elucidate.
Absolutely. Although it's only been a few days since the battle, correct?
It's been a few days. So they're not much. Oh, wait.
If they're a few days north, it's where the storm is. So
Yeah. So they're
would they
you
left
imagine
right away?
Yeah,
or would
yeah. Because they were eager to go.
The giants, I'm sure they make a good.
Yeah,
they make good time. They're giants, so
because we did like maybe a day recovering after the battle. Then we did all of the stuff with my dad, and then came back and rested a day, and then went and did. Yeah, it's been like a week at least. They're they're back where they should be, which is bad for us.
Although we don't know how bad, and won't know for
yes.
No. Can you speak to the giants now? They might.
Yeah, I will send them a message.
What does it say? I'm assuming you're sending it to Clouthy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you sent the message to Clouthy.
When handy.
Dangerous storm to the north. Please return south for your safety.
Do they know anything of it?
You
Byron made.
Yeah.
You receive a message very quickly afterwards from Clouthy, and it says, "We are in hiding underground. The storm has passed over us and has taken many of our number. Only a few remain."
It seems they were able to get to hiding, but unfortunately, a number were killed before.
By what? The storm itself?
I imagine the storm itself, the inclement weather.
Very well.
Which is unfortunate.
If these statues have kept that library standing over 1,000 years, then I'm sure any storm will wash over them. But it's good to have contingencies.
I hope it will keep us safe.
I believe it will. It's larger, darker, grander, and it's chaos colored. Like, this is storm unlike any that they have ever seen.
So this is this is the most insane weather you've ever seen. Like, you've seen storms, you've seen bad storms, and then there's this.
If you could spare the magic, could you contact... Oh, what's his name? High Archivist, Grand Archivist Thrisk. Could you contact Grand Archivist Thrisk and say that a chaos storm sweeps from the north? If he requires my presence, I can be there, but we have no idea what toll this might take on the people of Lament, and the whole should prepare.
Yes, I'll send that message.
Okay. You receive a message back after just about as long as it's possible to wait.
Like waiting, tapping my foot.
Yeah, and it just says, if you want me to believe such things, I will need to see you in person. And somehow he manages to slur with his mind.
He seems to have his doubts about the nature of the storm. And if we want him to believe it, he wants to see it in person. If you want to make those arrangements.
Did he say I would need to see you in person or need to see the storm in person? I thought so.
There was a lot of slurring going on.
Yes. Byron manages to interpret his needs, even when he didn't message him. I thought as much.
So where this conversation is taking place on the wall.
On the
right?
walls, yes.
Yeah, make me a perception check, please, both of you.
Sure. 17.
17, Rose?
22.
Okay, Rose, you see Remy walking from the Blissful Mistress towards the library.
Shirtless with a giant plate of food.
A huge plate of food.
Well, it would seem our wayward friend has returned.
Byron looks down, puzzled to where you're looking. Huh.
Hi, guys!
Where have you been?
She shouts from the wall.
You better believe it.
Yeah. What's with the weather? Hold on, I'll come to you.
I'll come to you.
Shuffle up the stairs, like spilling fruit and cheese as he goes.
Can we say, like, around this time, Elishon's done with her conversations?
Absolutely.
Does she run into Remy in the hallway?
Well, no, he's in the courtyard. So you like step out, you walk out into the courtyard, and Remy's like right there, just walking away from you towards the wall.
And yeah, she'll follow after. But as she does so, I'm gonna spend my last 3rd level spell slot to send a message to Arthas as I'm walking.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I'll like, hey, same message that Rose has been sending to people. That chaos storm. You know, wicked crazy storm to the north, eh? No.
I'm offended.
I'm offended.
I mean, I wasn't trying to be either of you, so y'all just need to stop being so sensitive.
Okay. Arthas just says he's on his way.
Cool.
As he usually does when you send him such messages. All right.
So we gather on the wall?
You gather on the wall.
Dramatic.
Like Remy gets there first, I presume, like a minute ahead or something, and like Byron like looks down at the shirtless Remy.
So Remy looks like really flushed and sweaty. He's just kind of like stroking his chest hair, like and drinking a very light beer.
You went to the beach plane, didn't? Sorry. What?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. So I know I always give a shit about magic, but magic is pretty cool. All right. I found a plane full of beautiful, chesty women, and nothing but beaches for miles. And yeah, that's where I've been. Sorry, I meant to be back before you guys arrived, but I got a little distracted. They're a randy bunch, and they couldn't get enough of Mr. Hoochblogger.
Like there's an eyebrow raise, and that's about the response you get.
So yeah, what's with the weather? Not common around here. A lot of lightning.
Byron like looks out again over the battlements, kind of to where Minerva disappeared, and he says, Rose and Elishan were worried about you. It seems the chaos has come to us. This storm.
So what? I gotta fight the weather now.
Well, we were hoping to shelter. I'm not sure how much your blade will do. It's apparently felled quite a few giants on its way here.
Well, I mean, I just made a few new friends. We could shelter everybody on the beach plane. They do like company.
I mean, it is a possibility. I don't like the idea of being on a different plane, though. If one plane has come here, it may well disrupt the transport between them.
Remy looks confused.
Wait, what?
And I looks to Rose for a second, and then back to Remy. I believe the storm is of chaotic origin. That it means as harm.
So it might ruin the magic. You mean?
No, it means that's probably Evelyn. Elishan says as she walks up behind. And if we take refuge in another plane, we just doom that, and we fail to stop whatever this is. We just doom that.
Oh no, we stay here. But yeah, we send people hiding in the caves on to another plane.
You don't think? I don't know. Evelyn the chaos seems to follow whenever people try to escape from other planes.
Oh.
At least that's what I read.
I was just concerned that it may well disrupt transport or back or.
Or just give Evelyn ideas altogether.
Yes,
you wouldn't want to put the busty women in danger, would you? He says sort of haltingly.
No, I wouldn't.
Also, if we fail, then we've trapped everyone we've sent on another plane with no way of getting back.
I can think of worse fates.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with Remy, to be fair. If you're going to be trapped somewhere, the beach plane is not going to be one of the worst.
I mean, I asked Tiffany all about it. Nothing but beaches and fish forever. I mean, seems like paradise. Nobody ever dies. They were millions of years old, and all they do is fondle each other and eat coconuts.
I'm sorry, where did you go?
Well, I call it the land of lusty ladies. Come up with.
I mean, do we really have to stay here with the chaos?
I'm telling you, Rose, you would like it.
Rose is all like, I wonder if they need to be shown the light of Lathander.
They do look like they need religion.
My mission is suddenly clear to me.
Lathander has shown me the way.
Listen, I'm sorry I was late, I mean, but yeah, I think we can send them all out of here, and we keep the key. We come get them when they're ready. I mean, if they want to come back. Keep the fighting men and ladies here, and I don't know.
As long as that continues to behave the way I think it's going to, we should have maybe 3 days, but that I wouldn't count on it before it gets here. I mean, not a whole lot of time to prepare much of anything.
Saying that the library still stands, or at least the magic holding that place together. So either the storm didn't originate that far north, or it survived. I believe if it survives this long, for thousands of years, under the protection of those statues that we now have in our possession, we might be able to weather the storm. Also, Rose has spoken to Grand Archivist Thrisk. He wishes, at least, perhaps my presence to enforce the seriousness of this storm, in case the other peoples of Lament might suffer.
The statue won't cover won't cover all of the keep, just mostly the castle, if I remember from our experiments, right, Byron?
The Grand DM in the sky just said that, like, the inner courtyard and all of that should be safe.
She's agreeing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And the keep itself has the protections that Rose has been crafting?
Like forbiddens?
Yes, the forbiddens.
Except for the teeny tiny spot that we don't talk about.
Mm.
We can teleport in and out of.
Do we think that perhaps it might be safer for, I mean, obviously we can't get everyone, but maybe some people will be safer in the keep under those protections than in the cavern, just simply underground, that we don't have anything underground.
The entrance to the cavern does go into the bubble. It goes into the inner court, doesn't it?
Yeah, so like there is a cavern underneath the keep. So like, because it's a round bubble, yeah, it's possible to get like into the underneath part of the bubble.
I do agree. If it is just weather, the cavern should be enough, but they can traverse from bubble to cavern.
Doesn't look like weather to me.
So basically, we just have a hole to an underground cavern in our courtyard. We just like roll a shrub in front of it.
I thought it was like, a crack or fissure in the like side of the cliff or something that the keep kind of sat against or something.
So the way I picture it is the keep is at the top of a very, very, or of a quite tall but very shallow gradiented hill, right? So like it's a long but kind of word that's the opposite of steep hill.
Gentle slope.
Yes. And so the actual entrance to the mine that you found is in the side of this hill, and it's it's like your traditional kind of dungeon cave shape, right? Where it's the sort of vague door shape that's kind of slightly red of the cliff.
But we have a shortcut that the Korrid bursted up through the middle of our courtyard, though, right? So people don't have to go around the hill; they can go down.
I mean, that was.
Or did we fill that in?
Hole.
It's like a Korrid-sized hole.
Yeah, and the corridors are like the size of a small
so we
dog.
went down into the Okay.
The doorway we went in is sort of around the side of the keep or something.
Gotcha,
Like it's not too far away.
Yeah.
Should we put the statue
Where? Sorry.
down? Rely on the forbiddance to protect us and let the.
I will just remind you of your various other resources. You have the 2, or is it 4? It might be 4 giant dwarf statues. You've got the catapult golem. You've got lots of things to protect you in various other ways.
True, but at the minute we're operating under the thought that it is Storm and not an army.
Yeah.
And Elishon just has like a really bad feeling about a chaos storm. So she's like,
Yeah, we know it's a chaos storm. Yeah. We know it's gonna suck.
So it's gonna be like, we'll say 2 hours before Byron, from when you sent her off. So just as an FYI, I'll remind you when that kind of comes up in IRL.
Okay, guys. It seems like stakes are pretty high, and I need to get my head in the game. Anybody mind if I go take a bath? I gotta wash the stank off me.
By all means.
All right.
Chugs his beer.
Oh man!
You take your food up to the bath.
Oh yeah, you know me.
Also,
he shuffles out.
If things get real bad or whatever, I always have my mansion. If we can't get people down into the caverns, I can create that doorway, and people can hide in the pocket keep.
That's also a good plan. Again, the vulnerabilities of pocket planes with something that warps reality is yet to be seen, but if it comes to it.
Well, I can always make the door way in preparation, so we'll know whether or not it's safe before we have to send anybody, because it'll last for a day.
Above board, Remy was able to just interdimensionally teleport here within the last.
I know, but the storm's like 3 to 4 days away. I'm just wondering. I think that if a chaos storm is right on top of you, and it's come from a different plane, it might well disrupt planar travel. It's just a qualm that Byron has. It might not, but it. But might.
Also, right now, it probably won't.
No, right now it's fine.
So perhaps we move them to the Coconut Island now.
There are other planes of existence.
Nope. Coconut Island or bust.
You've got Feywild, Shadow Plane, Coconut Isle.
Let's go to Breast Beach.
We're going to put this into the campaign now as a pinnacle point of the story.
Beachside.
I mean, we could. I mean, I feel that would be probably one of the best things to do is to move them out of this plane of existence while the chaos is still far enough away to hopefully not mess with it too much.
Absolutely. If you are welcome to come along. I'd like to discuss that potential possibility maybe with the planar department of the Halls of Ivy before we send everyone in. We have a little bit of time.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good decision. Caution and all that.
I sent a message to Arthas. He should be on his way. Do you want to wait, or I can wait here for him? I don't want to. If time is short, I don't want to delay anything.
I mean, it doesn't take him very long to get here, but also I don't hope to be at the halls for that long.
And Remy is having a bath. We have some time, perhaps.
Indeed. Has he informed? Well, I presume he will have informed the Allfanger and that he might bring wisdom from the druids.
Perhaps.
That
from the
was
worlds of nature.
my hope.
Where did Kirionti go? Or is he still here? Was he at the funeral? Just I don't know how long that...
Yeah, it's hard to fucking keep track.
Honestly, we do so much in such a small period.
Yeah. Kirionti and Bjord are still in Frosthaven, though they have been down in the town, kind of helping those in need, like just helping with the building effort with like Bjord's magic and helping heal and helping people recuperate after the battle. Same with Aed and Gale, like they've just been Aed's a herbalist, so they've just been kind of healing up people, giving remedies. Like everyone's sort of just pitching in to do their part.
We saw him use magic during the fight.
You did.
Gaiad. Did we ever talk?
Blasty magic.
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
We don't know what he can do.
No.
Herbs and stuff.
Herb.
And apparently he's the best healer ever.
He is second to none.
We could teleport to the halls, talk to Thrisk and any planar experts there. We could then go back to the Goliaths. Maybe talk about what they know about securing the plains, if they have any ideas against Chaos Incursion. I know they have chosen to flee, but they might have some ideas about what could be done, and then we could return.
There's also the Goliath that wanted to fight with us, Vorus. Nope, never mind. Don't know that yet.
I mean, if he was
Elishon starts speaking in tongues and twitching.
If everyone was keen to come and see it firsthand.
I thought they were on their way here. There were a group of them that wanted to stay.
So I believe what happened is basically everyone is sort of, all the Goliaths, the Algari are moving out, but there is a group that wanted to stay, and that group are helping the others kind of get ready to go, and are like they kind of said like, let us know when we're needed and we'll come. So they're like, we'll be there as soon as the fighting happens, but you have to let us know.
If they have knowledge of Chaos Incursions into other planes from any records, or they might well wish to see this in person, and they might be able to identify it.
That's true.
We could take some of them back with us.
Well, with your illusions, do they need to see it in person? Can't you just recreate it?
Yes.
Magically?
I could. It was what I was planning to do with the halls. But I can do it the same with the Goliaths. If they didn't want to come and see in person. I do wish Clouthy was more specific. He said the storm had passed over, but they were still in hiding. So
the storm has passed over. They are hiding underground. It has taken many of them. Only a few remain.
But we don't know from what, because they didn't say. And we know it passed over, so I presume that means that there is an element of it being okay on the other side. It's not just permanent darkness seeping or maybe not.
When they went underground, so I'm not sure how they know that it's passed or not, or whatever may happen.
Damn unreliable witnesses.
Hey man, it was a super fucking vague question, so basically blame Rose.
Everyone blames Rose.
Standard.
So you want to go now before Arthas arrives and Remy finishes his bath, or?
About how long do I figure it will take Arthas to get here?
Like 5 to 10.
5 to 10 minutes.
No, fucking hours.
That's not
Yes.
congruent. Okay. He won't be long, I don't think. I had sent the message a bit ago.
Very well. We can wait.
I don't think we should wait for Remy. Just leave
No.
without him. Give him a taste of his own medicine.
Break his little heart.
I believe he enjoys his
Oh,
meal.
no, nothing for me here.
And he just goes back to the fucking beach
Byron
fight.
Byron isn't going to leave without telling him, but he is intended to leave whether he comes or not. So, like, I think he'll send Milton. I was going to say Jeeves, but I said Milton. With a little message or something that says, "We intend to talk to Thrisk." He always says Grand Archivist Thrisk, even on a note. And then the Goliath again about planar issues. And so he'll arrive with that little card at some point before they leave, if Remy wants to come or not. But Thrisk is your drinking buddy after all.
It's true.
But now may not be the time. But it's up to Remy.
Milton returns with the card, and it just has a little X on it. You're not sure if he actually understood it.
Okay.
Do you like me? Yes or no?
Remy's learning his letters, the letter X.
Whatever it may mean.
But Byron is going to busy himself until Arthas arrives, and then they can...
Yeah, so it's like 5 minutes later, and a great frigate bird kind of wheels over the keep once before kind of landing and manifesting itself as the big brute that is Arthas. And he immediately kind of grabs Elle and gives her a hug and a kiss.
Hi. Missed you.
Kind of just grins back, this big sort of wolfish grin, just happy to have her back, and kind of gives her another hug. Me too.
So the storm looks kind of ugly.
His kind of
Sorry, not to kind of ruin the mood, but
I was gonna say his smile like immediately dropped.
And
He
she like
kind of
feels
stares
like
up at it.
really bad and just kind of like grabs his hand, is just kind of like, I'm sorry, but also Rose and Byron are also standing like right there.
He gives
Or
it
not to
that sort of says like, it's all right. Yeah, it's bad.
Has it hit any of the forest yet? Your forest?
Not ours yet, but it will soon, and we're ready for it. I think we've started to move people south. We've got some places underground, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's sort of like, now you're looking at him, it looks like he's kind of haggard, and he hasn't, he's got this stubble going, and he clearly hasn't slept in quite a while. It looks like he's kind of taken on maybe a slightly unwanted. He's sort of trying to organize the protection of his people somewhat.
Can you confirm to me, Rob, that we did make one other statue that might well work? It might not be as strong as the other one, or
I hereby confirm that you have an additional statue.
Byron, who is standing with Rose a little distant from the conversation, Byron says, you and your people are always welcome here, but we do have something that could protect you. And like, there's a graveness to his tone, and he might like share a brief glance with Rose because he knows he's maybe endangering their people to half the power of the shield or something. But I mean, these people have stuck their neck out for us in the past, so
You do?
I think Elishan kind of like looks at Byron and like knows what he's like like talking about, and is kind of like wide-eyed and wouldn't have expected him to offer that protection up.
Your people can move. He takes a step as he's saying that. He's stepping towards Arthur's. Your people can move, but I know. And then he like corrects himself. Thinks for a moment. I presume the Marin tree cannot. The center of your civilization deserves protection. You have something that might. And he's like, he actually reaches out and touches him on the shoulder.
Do you have something that could help? And he's sort of like staring at your hand a little bit.
We have a trinket, a charm from a civilization long lost that stood the test of time.
He was there.
Well, maybe he didn't understand what was going on. I don't know. Arthas isn't that bright, but
He is super dumb. Yeah.
sure. We created a replica of it. We were going to use it to bolster our own defenses, but people could move. Your people can move, so can ours. But the Marin tree
And
cannot.
he doesn't say anything to that, but he just like, your arm's on his shoulder, so he just grabs you and pulls you into like a bone-crushing hug.
Byron is a little awkward there.
Yeah, and he sort of like releases you and looks a little bit sheepish and kind of glances at Al.
She kind of like grabs his hand and gives it like a little squeeze.
That's more than. Thank you, Byron.
Byron looks to Elishan and Rose like for permission.
We honor the treaties of old.
We honor the treaties. And he like looks to El.
Elishan is kind of like got like this big happy like, my best friends are getting my boyfriend and my best friends are getting along. I love it. And she's kind of has like this super happy look on her face. Like it's not something she would have thought to have asked Byron to do or like for any of us to do, and so she's just kind of super happy.
Plus,
sorry, you go.
I was going to say something dumb. You go.
I was just, out of character. Arthas has a good point, and we can transport people to different planes. People are important to us, not places. But like the Marin tree was important to Byron. I mean, he named his halls after it.
Yeah,
but that can't move.
The halls of Marin if there's no more Marin trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also doesn't know. I can't remember the treant's name, but like how quickly the treant will go, or if it will leave.
Krith.
Yeah. I don't know if Krith would leave.
Well done,
Thanks.
So he's also looking to recognize and protect them. So he like nods at Elle if she like wordlessly looks at him.
Yeah, and you would definitely notice that in Arthas, it's not just like the relief and like thank you for helping my people. It's like you can tell he's been agonizing over this for like days at this point, and is super stressed about it. And you've just given him, the hope that there's a solution that he didn't believe there was before.
So Byron like snaps his fingers, and Milton will soar off to go wherever we put it. I don't know if it's in our lab somewhere, but
He spent props.
He's gonna go reclaim it. So Arthas can maybe we could go set it up. I don't know what it requires, but
I mean, it probably requires like a little bit of juice to get going, I imagine.
I think we have the juice. Excuse me, maybe.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a pretty simple enchantment. It was like more like attuning it to the place, I think.
Yeah.
It's required.
Exactly.
If I remember from our conversations during the downtime.
We only have so much time.
Smart, I would say.
Is what? Rob?
I said that sounds like something that I would say.
Yeah. we only have so much time, and Byron can go and maybe attune that. They're not that far away, are they? And we have the ship, if it really is. So we could maybe do that, because he doesn't have enough teleports to go there and then the other places and then back again. So
no, yeah.
Have the animals told you anything? The ones that are fleeing the storm? Because I know the Ulfanger haven't probably ventured out towards the storm to explore, but they probably have, like, like in Bambi, all of the forest animals are fleeing the raging firestorm.
He just says, it's all panic. They don't know exactly what, but they know that something bad's coming, and it's something to run from.
Cluffy said that it took some of the giants, so it has to be bad.
Arthas just nods.
So when the statue returns, Byron will go with Arthas, with everybody. Not sure what. We'll go and set the thing up.
So
sorry, the treant was Krisk, was it? Or
Krith.
That was it.
Krith. Like Chris with a lisp.
Hi, my name is Chris.
Okay, that's rude. Yeah. So you can sort of go. I like, if you were walking, it probably would take you like a couple hours. But if you have some other way, like if you just take the airship or you fly or whatever, then it's a couple minutes.
If we take the airship, and Arthas must know his forest in and out, and
like he flies over it all the time. He just guide you. Land next to the beautiful Marin tree. You kind of set up the thing, and it creates this dome around it, into which all the Ulfanger can pass. But because I believe you did some like downtime checks to try and like see if you could figure out a way to like allow certain people to pass it. Is that correct, or am I making that up?
I seem to remember that we couldn't get through it all to a degree when you teleportation, but maybe
I think
you can't just walk through it. But I think you guys maybe like attuned.
No, it is you activate it and the shield goes up and nothing can come through while the shield is up, period.
Okay.
The only way to bring it down is to move the statue from where it's been attuned, because that's how we got the two statues, is because we like moved it from its pedestals.
No, I thought it was because you bunged them in the bag of holding.
Yeah. So like we were able to move them without setting up, like we did the bag of holding trick to deactivate them or whatever. But
it's like
otherwise we would have had to
they're gonna stay on. Like
we have two bag of holdings. We could give one of them to them, and they could bank it if they need it, or we could message them to come and put it down again.
Well, I think if I remember during, like, we did study, so like we know how to act, like turn it on and off ourselves. But it is, once you turn it on, nothing can get through. It's not you have a security badge and you can badge into the bubble. Once they've got the bubble up, they've got the bubble up.
So then in that case, I imagine like Arthas maybe goes off and like gathers some of the people who are smarter than him in the Ulfanger, and sort of to be honest, she's about the same. Like they're not a smart family.
Yeah, but he would totally go get her anyway.
I mean, she's wise and fightery, but not like
she's a puncher, not a thinker.
Yeah, that's fair.
But no, there's definitely some, and so like you can kind of end up teaching a few of the Ulfanger how to do it so that they can kind of get their people in there or whatever they need.
Byron and Elishannon can sort out teaching people how to use this. Byron would very much like to talk to Chris and just like say, we think it'll work. Like he doesn't want to give them false hope and illusion. He's very much about the truth of things. So he will say that we believe it will protect you, certainly more than not having it at all. But it may And he'll be dour.
Yeah.
It may fail. He just wants to give you the straight truth because he doesn't do.
Flowery Chris kind of contemplates you for a second and looks down and says, "It is very gracious of you, regardless."
He looks up at the giant tree and I believe it is what you would do for me. So we do it in turn.
Nods.
And I think
without the trust between our people, there is very little that we have.
Those are never true words spoken, really, to him. Even Chris, I'm sure, will see some change in him. And he, Byron nods. Trust. Trust and honor.
It is good to see that our trust and our sacrifice on your behalf has not has not been forgotten, has not gone unremembered. It is good to see that you honor the treaties.
Byron looks up into at him and says, "I forget nothing, including the sacrifices made, especially the sacrifices made."
Krith just kind of nods very slowly. I see a future for our two peoples, despite the dark clouds that hang over us.
Byron, a little emboldened by that. Just like the malaise that hangs over your people, I will see the storms cleared. Do not give up on either. Our people are yours.
And ours yours. Should it come to a fight, the Allfanger will stand with you again and again until none of us breathe.
Till none of us breathe. And he makes like a solemn promise. I presume it's quite hard to shake the hand of a treant, but he will reach out.
I think it's more of like a sage nod and almost like a bow, a very, very slow nod. But there is that sort of, you both understand the solemnity of what you're saying.
And I think before he leaves this place, he'll put a reverent hand upon the trunk of the Marin, just savoring it. Whether it survives or not, or whether he survives or not, he will savor the moment.
Yeah, and you feel, the rough bark of the tree that you have based, what is soon to be your magnum opus on, this great hall, and that kind of reverence you feel for it doesn't diminish in any way.
Elishan is gonna kind of turn to Arthas at one point during all of this and kind of say that I know that you're doing a lot right now. Is there anything you need?
He's just kind of shakes his head and grips the bridge of his nose. We just We lost so many in the battle, and then to have this come so soon after, it's just. I'm trying my best to keep us together, but it seems like the world wants to tear us apart.
Alshon kind of like lay a hand on his chest and like look up at him and like, if anybody can keep the Ilfinger together, it's you.
Closes his eyes and kind of smiles and puts an arm around your shoulder. Thanks, Al. He says, and it's sort of like I know you're being nice, but I know that it's also, not just, it's essentially just, he knows it's just words, like, whether or not he actually believes it is a different matter.
Well, if you ever need anything, I know we're gonna go to Virus here in a little bit, but you can always come home to me if you need. But I know that you're needed here as well.
Kind of frames your face with his hands and like leans his forehead against yours. I will, but like you say, I've got to finish up my work here first. I missed you.
I've missed you. Let's hurry up and save the world so we can, get back to not missing each other quite so much.
He grins again. Yeah, it's a good idea.
And I think she's just gonna kind of stay with him until Byron is done with Chris, trying to eke out like a tiny bit of time with Arthas.
Definitely. And it's sort of that like kind of solemn, you just kind of sit and hold each other, and you know that the worst is coming, and you know that you're going to have to split soon. The best thing I could equate it to is like that 10 minutes before your alarm goes off in the morning, when it's just like the best, most comfortable time to be in bed, but you know that it's coming to an end soon.
Or the time that you're waiting with someone at an airport or a train or something, train station.
Yeah.
For it to leave.
That's the worst, really.
A few of those. Yeah, I've had a few of those.
At the time, when you're waiting and you're not sure if you're going to survive the next day or two, when that happens to you every couple of weeks. Oh, it's the worst.
But yeah, she is going to, when we do finally leave, she is going to ask if things seem like they're going bad, do you want me to call? Or do you need to stay with your people?
Call. Always call.
Okay. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. And with that, you guys depart, returning back to Frosthaven.
Anything to do? Just thought I'd ask before they...
Originally, to be fair, you fucking said you went just you and Arthas, and then somehow Al was along. So, whatever.
I mean, anyone can come.
No, you said that me and Byron were going to get them sorted out. So
I didn't say that,
Rob. Yes, you did, Rob. You did say
did
that.
Rose
Byron...
come or did Rose stay to help people?
Rose probably would have stayed.
Okay, Rose stayed. Okay, we go back in the ship.
And Rose and Remy are gone.
Oh, so
I was gonna say that's probably like a weird, like kind of awkward. I mean, maybe not too awkward, but just kind of just Rose or just Elle and Byron.
I didn't think of. I was just then. I was thinking about it, but not on the way there. Like it would have been, so solemn and quiet or whatever, unless you really want to talk to him. Him just standing there, you know, with the orb or whatever it is that controls this ship as they travel for like half an hour.
Yeah, she's probably just kind of. Yeah, because like it's like that car ride after, like, you know, you've taken your friend so that they could say bye to their boyfriend at the airport and you're having to drive them home. It's that car ride.
God.
It's like looking out over the scenery or something on the edge of the boat. Or at least that's what Byron hopes or something. Well.
So I think we're going to do Frosthaven, or we're going to do Viros. Next, take a quick break.
Sure.
How are we looking for time, Dylan?
Another hour and a half is fine.
Dope.
Also, love you, Dylan, while doing all these things while you're in the bath.
Oh, Remy's having a great time.
He's
Flashing, he's playing with his rubber duck, he's getting high.
Creech ancient adobe.
One of the top 5 days he's had in recent memory, and everyone else is like, "Oh God, the world's ending."
He's pretty confident at this point that if the world does in fact end, he can just turn a key and be gone. So,
and hopefully taking some of his friends with him this time.
I mean, probably, yeah. Depends where you're standing and how long the gate stays open.
How long does that gate stay open?
Good question.
Also, Byron thinks Remy deserves a bath, and he deserves some time to himself. There's a lot of, you know, busy work to be done, and that isn't Remy's favorite thing. He'll be there when he needs him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh God, I can barely keep up writing notes this session. I have to keep like blocking it out.
Yeah, I'm getting bullet points on a lot of this stuff, so this is definitely going to be gotta rewatch the broadcast recap when I ever write the recap.
Sure. I've written a fair bit, but I have to keep just you know, bolding parts and going, this is what happens, because there's a lot of things moving very quickly.
Yeah, like I really loved the scene with Krith and Byron, but my notes for it is just Krith and Byron equal bro TP.
I really like Byron hasn't lived a very godly life. It's much about, you know, magic and his own power and the power of the individual. But I like the Marin affected him, and the seeing a treant is not something that I think everyone sees. And he's also like speaking to the leader, saying, he speaks very plainly, and he doesn't want to go, "This will save you." He wants to at least tell the person responsible that this may fail.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because it's never good to put like all your eggs in one basket, which is kind of why, like, you know, we've got the Keep of Forbiddance, we've got the Caverns, and we've got our extra statue. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like we've got a couple of things going that might work for us, but
yeah. And we have the key, and we have just evacuating, and people can move. We can rebuild.
We're gonna evacuate, right? That's the plan. Is we're gonna get as many people out before. Wait, no, you want to get
currently Byron doesn't know, but when he sees army, fuck it. Like,
I know.
People will be evacuating as best that we can, but we're planning for the eventuality that we think. Not that we can do it again. Anything for the tree or Chris, I don't think will move anywhere. It won't leave his forest, that I'm sure. So, and it was a big move for Byron to, you know, weaken their own defenses for another.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I kind of feel like Elishan might, like, there aren't words enough for her to say thanks for that kind of thing, but like, you know, there probably, you know, was like some like really big like puppy dog eyes. Like, everything where she's just so like, you're the best, Byron. Oh my gosh. Like,
he would hate to admit it, but I think there is probably an emotional level to his decision making, and not just, you know, Machiavellian plans on plans on plans. But
he's more sentimental than he likes to let on.
Absolutely.
Like it's one of those things like Elishan would not have asked, because she would have figured it would have been that it is like impractical
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
But
she
he's
wouldn't.
also incredibly selfish. And
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be that necessarily.
Yeah.
It is impractical, which is what he hates, but he
Mhm.
also doesn't want to be selfish.
Yeah,
And
and
these
that's
people
like the
sacrifice themselves for us.
and that's like the exact reason why she wouldn't. It's Elishon's so fucking weird. She never asks for any fucking thing, but because huh?
I'm gonna say from a strategic standpoint, it makes the most sense though, because we need them
Yeah.
as allies.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That which is one of Byron's thoughts somewhere down there. Like if we can keep them alive, they're fantastic. And like the Marin has special healing properties, and
Mhm.
keeping a treant
Mhm.
alive has,
Chaos
value.
Cure.
Yeah, the Chaos Cure. And keeping Krith alive has value, and keeping the Druids alive has value. In a very non-emotional state, but also I think there is an emotional level for Byron, certainly when it comes to the Druids and the Marin Tree.
They did just sacrifice themselves, I guess.
Yes, and they did that, which he has to, grant them as. That was a considerable devotion to his cause and his efforts. So, and the efforts of everybody. That for an isolationist, Druid conclave, like
Right.
that was a big step for them.
I'll be right back.
And there's also saving, Elishon's boyfriend.
Yeah, I very, very much enjoyed that scene and all the connotations therein. I think it was a very cool moment.
Cool. Yeah, I thought so. I just, like I was saying to C, like Byron, it doesn't use flowery language. You get straight to the point, and he wouldn't want to give them entirely false hope. Like he likes to be the one with an answer, and he likes his solutions to work. But also, he's going to admit that like this maybe won't resist what they have to go up against, but it's better than them just being there.
He wouldn't leave them in the dark to feed his own ego. He likes being someone with genuine solutions, not just to be seen as someone with solutions.
Yeah. That's not science. Leaving people in the dark is like the opposite of academia and science. So he just knows that the tree can't go anywhere and that Krith probably can't go anywhere, and they deserve protection. So hopefully it's enough. Hopefully we stop them. Hopefully something. This sounds awful, and we don't know it's awful. We just think it's a big old storm that kills giants. As of yet. Oh. I'm going to be right back.
Okay.
Are we taking 10, 5, something?
Yeah, however many you want.
Okay.
I think some of us kind of just stayed around and talked rather than taking the break.
I'd disappear very quickly. See, interesting question then. How are you pronouncing your newest writing character's name?
Maysend.
You. Okay. That's not how I'm pronouncing it.
How are you pronouncing it?
Well, you said you got it from a French night thing. So I've been, in my head, it's been Maison.
Oh. Whichever.
And you're not going to change my mind on that. So
that's fine.
Although you pronounce it like, because all the road names in Guernsey are in French. Because it was Guernsey was owned by France for a long time. So everything's in French. But Guernsey people don't speak French. So there's a road near my house called Rue de Grand, but on Guernsey people call it Rue des Grands and stuff. So it's French pronounced wrong. Les Godins is another road near mine where it's Les Godins. It's so funny.
Is very Midwest America too, because every fucking city is named after something Native American, but nobody around here speaks Native American. So you get stuff that should be Olumokwe is Okmulgee.
Yeah.
And so And it's like in what was it in Wayne's World? It should be pronounced Milwaukee, and it's Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's bad, man. Over here, it kind of drove me insane for like the first week. I couldn't handle it.
There's I have aunts and uncles and cousins or whatever that live in Tahlequah, and there are so many fucking Q's in that goddamn city name. I never know how to fucking spell it. I'm always like Googling that shit because it's like Talhqaulua, and it's pronounced Tahlequah. It is the dumbest name ever.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if I could live in a place that so badly mispronounces everything. My dad is like a super stickler for, punctuation and language, and that has just
come to Guernsey.
That has just insinuated within my being. So I've basically become my dad in that.
Seriously, Dan, it like physically hurt for the first little while I was here because everything
hurt me so badly.
Everything's in French, but no one speaks French, and everyone's quite dumb. It's like I was just telling C and Jade, there's like a road near my parents' house called Les Gaudins, but everyone here calls it Les Gaudins, or like Rue des Grands, or no, the worst one, the Pollet. Oh my god, there's a road called the Pollet, and I was like, the Pollet. They're like, yeah, Pollet. I was like, that's not what that word is. That's just not what that word is.
No.
Pollet. No. But it's like officially pronounced the Pollet because they're disgusting animals.
I did take French. I don't really speak French, but I know enough that basically you drop the second the
Pollet.
The last third of any word, you just drop it.
It's not hard. It's not hard. It's just not difficult. The Pollet fucking animals.
I'm one of those people that has to like say rendezvous in their head whenever they spell out rendezvous, because otherwise I will forget how to say it.
My only thing like that is beautiful. Like with the I just do the Bruce Almighty. Beautiful.
I think going to America where they have the Native American names, I'll be like, this isn't how it is, but I also don't know how it should be. But I'm offended, but I also don't know what is the correct answer. Like Algonquin or whatever, or like Milwaukee or whatever. All these names.
Yeah. It's just like that in like Ohio, because I know Jade and I have talked about it before, but like I get to see like all of the county names in Ohio are Indian names.
A lot of them are, yeah.
Because at work, whenever I do like the background checks and stuff for Ohio, I'm all like, oh fucking goddamn it, because they will like for one city they will have 15 counties and they're all fucking Indian Native American names, and so they're impossible to pronounce and spell, and so I have to copy and paste them every single time because it's like Galuga and then like Caluga and then
you're never gonna get that right without copying.
I was auditing a client that dealt exclusively. It was a private equity firm that invested exclusively in Russian.
Oh no,
Russian companies. So it was just like these like names with like 50 Z's in them. And I was like, I'm just gonna say that's fine because I'm gonna have to write it a bunch of times if I don't. It was awful.
Yeah, I have the Ohio for what is it? Dayton, Ohio. I have the counties memorized: Cayuga, Gayuga, then Lake, Lorraine, Medina, Summit.
Medina.
Yeah. Oh, I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah. Cuyahoga.
Cuyahoga. Then
Dayton is in a completely different part of the state.
and then
a really big sandwich.
Yeah. I have to enter them all for this one stupid client because they're all like, "You got to do it all again," and it's like, it doesn't really. because they're like a very nitpicky client. So if your name is like Robert, they want us to run background or like criminal searches for Robert, Rob, Bob, Bobby, Robert, Robbie with an IE and Robbie with a Y and Rob with 2 B's because they're like insane and think that people are trying to get out of being found in criminal searches by.
Damn, what would they do for me? Because my name is just Rob. That would fucking confuse the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like,
Such
and if you have a hyphenated name, I want to punch you in the face because they want every iteration of that hyphenated name, like with like the names smushed together with no space, the names with a space, names with a hyphen.
Absolutely hate Guernsey as well for that because so many people have like there's 2 people in my there's 16 people in my intake, my sort of not year group because they're all different ages, but like my recruiting team. And 2 of them have double-barreled surnames. One is called
double-barreled surname. I love that.
That's what it's called.
I haven't heard that before.
Do you not have hyphenated surnames over there?
No, we do. I just haven't ever heard of them referred to as double-barreled surnames.
That's the English, I guess.
Yeah.
It makes it sound like a shotgun.
Exactly. How would you describe them then? I'm just curious.
A hyphenated name.
Okay, we don't refer to them as that ever.
I've only ever heard them called double-barreled.
Yeah, we have like one word for it. It's double-barreled surname. That's it.
It's me up really badly, right? Is like I said something to see about tapping your nose, and she was like, or she said that, and it was like it means like you got it on the nose, and I was like, what? That's not what that means.
No.
It's only in Britain that it means like a secret if you tap your nose. And I only found that out because I was reading this thing about culture at work and how, like, what it's like if you go do business in Britain, but you're not from Britain. It's pretty funny. Anyway. But, yeah, like, there's a guy in my thing called Roman, like, the Empire, Brewer Marchand. That's his name. And then there's another one called, like, James Aldous Granby. Stuff like
Granby. That's
Aldous Granby.
That's a nice name.
It's like one in every 4
like a wizard.
Has a double barrel. Yeah.
He sounds like a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Professor Aldous Granby.
He's in the new movie. Fantastic Creatures, Where to Find Them. He's one of the background wizards.
Where to Find Them.
Aldous Granby.
All right.
Anyway,
bringing it in.
Real life wizards.
It's Remy.
So, Dylan's back.
Okay.
Hi, what?
He's Remy to me.
So, you return to the keep, and I'll say now for just ease of everything is about when you find out that it's an army, like the time you spent setting up the thing and everything. So as you kind of arrive, you get that flash of vision from Minerva, and you see the armies and the drakes and the storm cloud and everything flying above.
So I think that like coming in to dock, and you know that Byron like docks perfectly every time without a problem. There is like a lurch, I think, as the ship comes in, and you see Byron has like pulled away almost from that control orb or whatever the machinery it is that he directs it for a second, and then like reestablishes control, and he looks pale.
Like Elishan like looks up from where she was probably like thrown against the railing, and what's wrong?
You see like almost white knuckle. He's like not holding. The impressive thing is like he's not holding on to anything. I imagine there's not handles, but you see like his hands are like rigid above this orb, like controlling it. And he doesn't even like turn to look at you. He just goes, "It's not a storm. It's an army."
I think Elishan pales as well. And that's and it's heading here.
There's like a slow nod. Look, it stretches from horizon to horizon. There are giants and drakes and phalanx of twisted hobgoblin. They all march under the banner of shadow. They writhe and mutate.
Did you see her?
Did Minerva see her in the mental image that I got? No.
I don't know whether that makes it better or worse.
Minerva didn't get close. She could be within that horde. From, whatever kind of, I would imagine, relatively perfect mental image that I got from Minerva, like it is an army that we couldn't hope to hold out against, right?
Not for any length of time. Yeah, this army's gonna break down your walls.
We need to rally everyone. Man, dwarf, even elf. We don't have enough time.
Do we want to try and take the fight to her before it gets here?
If she is even here, we would have to move unseen through an army of monstrosities to find her.
No, to Daskent. If we destroy her seat of power, maybe this will fade. The power she has over that storm will fade.
I imagine like the ship is like glid into mooring, and he kind of like pulls away from the orb and like turns to face you. If the hordes of Deskent have emptied, maybe she leaves it unguarded. Maybe she's there, maybe she isn't.
And according to the Owl Guide, she is Duskind, but they said that key will let us in without her noticing. Whenever I was there before, all I saw was her and Durukai. I saw no one else.
We have to get the people out. If we travel to the halls and back again, they have enough mages that should be able to transport them to Bellern or further afield. Then we can go.
This is an army. It's not just going to pass over us like a storm.
No.
It won't stop even if we have protections until we're all gone.
But they might delay at best. But there is more than enough to spill into the countryside and further south, and if people are not ready, they will keep spilling until there's nothing left.
She's probably come for us specifically. She might At least for a time, leave the others alone.
We can take the fight to her. But the men has to be ready. Even if we sever them from their master, they might not disappear. They have nowhere to go. There'll still be a roving horde. It has to be put down.
We should probably tell the others.
Just make a quick history check, Byron.
Sure. 18.
Okay, so you would vaguely remember that creatures kind of infected by the chaos have been able to be cured, and it seems that the chaos energy overtaking them is a more temporary control. So
even the hobgoblins, because they were like the forerunners of chaos invasion and stuff.
So, like in kind of the books, you have, the stories of people being overtaken with this, goblins, all kinds of creatures.
It's been one of those things where, like, once they're disconnected from the chaos, they take on the wounds they took during the time they were tainted.
So, like, they're invulnerable while in chaos. But then once they get out, the kind of physical strain of their actions comes back to haunt them, but they can be brought out of it.
That's why, like, Arthas managed to live through his shit, because he didn't take any mortal wounds while being all gribbly.
Still, they need to buy us time. I don't believe we will do this quick enough to save this place. Perhaps. We can leave the protections up, but we should remove the people. And the kingdoms of Belern and such should be ready to fight this off before the end.
Elisha nods.
To the others.
Mm-hmm.
And dismount and go find.
Yeah, Rose and Remy are treated to a very grim-faced Byron and Elisha wherever we find them.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been gone?
A few
hours.
Couple hours?
Yeah.
Remy's still asleep in the bath.
Okay. I don't know where we gather. Unless we gather around the bath, Milton can go prod you awake, maybe. Just you get this ethereal hand going boop, boop, boop.
Remy will come down in his bathrobe to wherever you are.
Party over? How was it? Sorry, I didn't want to go. I SVP'd X.
If you took any time at all, I presume we would have already told Rose. I'm sure we couldn't hold that in for any amount of time, but
yeah, what were we came looking, or did Milton find her right away, or was she with Willow, or what?
She would have been.
What was Rose doing in her temple? So it might be the same amount of time then, because the temple's outside.
Okay, so they both come in roughly same time, I guess. Do you want to start, Alexander?
Yeah, we both look like somebody just died.
Your trip was unsuccessful?
No, trip was fine. Minerva found the storm. It's not a storm. It's an army.
An army of what?
Creatures twisted by the chaos.
Drakes,
Elishan does not
giants.
envy Byron's inability to forget what he saw at this particular moment.
Sure. Yeah, but Byron just says almost disjointed, like drakes, giants, hobgoblins.
So creatures from here or creatures from Daskin?
Creatures that have been twisted by the chaos, like the man we met in the. Yeah.
But
okay.
They're from here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It seems like the giants that Clouthy lost are part of this army now, right? That's
They were taken.
The deception. They were taken, Clouthy said.
Remy's going to kind of put his chin in his hand and lean against the wall.
Well, I guess this is a bigger army than the one we fought just a little while ago.
And much more powerful, I would think. This army is driven by, something much, much worse than the fear and drugs that Guy had forced upon his men.
Do we have an estimate of their numbers?
You have no idea.
Well, I'm asking.
Didn't I hear you throw around 100,000?
I said
hundreds and thousands.
Hundreds of thousands originally, but I meant hundreds and thousands. This time.
Byron just surmised it because I mentioned from like an owl's view of that it's just a tide that stretches like from horizon to horizon or whatever, basically. He just says, he just says, as far as the eye can see, it is a horde without number.
So we can't beat it. Well, that makes things simple, no? We get everybody the hell out of here, and we go do what we got to do anyway.
We can't beat it head on.
No, we go to Daskin.
That's what I said.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Is that really the best course of action? We have no idea what we face there.
Well, we know
what we face here.
What we face here, and we know it's certain death.
Yeah, Elishon and Remy are like on like the exact same page.
For like the first time in fucking history.
I mean, not necessarily.
It was a giant infinite army.
We go to North and we fail, and leave this army to wash over Lament.
If we don't have the strength to stand against it here, it's gonna wash.
If we stand here and die, Lament's way.
I don't feel that unless there's some sort of general that is commanding this army that Minerva did not see, and it's not Evelyn, and it's just some other, lord of war or whatever.
Well, then we killed all the Chaos Lords, right?
No. We have two.
There's the one that 8 hearts, and then there's the one that was skin.
Had no skin.
All right. How much magical looky-loo stuff can you do between the 3 years? Yeah, like look through time and space and see stuff. What's that called?
Well, I have true seeing, but I'm afraid I can't do anything with.
To scry, I believe.
That's the one. Yeah. I mean, can Evelyn's here on this plane, or if you can't see her, then maybe she's not here, or they're the Chaos Lords. I don't know.
I mean, it maybe would be worth trying to scry her position to confirm.
If there's a single creature in charge of this horde, that might be something, one creature we could handle if we could figure out a way of getting it separated from the rest.
Either way, if we can get 3 scries off, reach the Chaos Lords. If any of them are here, we kill them. If not, we go to that.
Oh, because we know what they look like.
Yeah.
You could scry on them. Like, Elishon kind of like looks at Byron and Rose.
We tell all the kings and queens and people with armies that they better, drop their socks and grab their cocks. And, not much we can do form and take care of the root of the problem. I feel ready to die. I don't know about you guys. I had a great day.
Today?
Sorry, what?
Can you guys scry today?
I
No.
can't. Not immediately. I mean, we have some time. But...
Can we get our people out of here?
Yes. Evacuation is a top priority. Also informing the nations of lament. They may have to hold off this force long enough for us to succeed.
I still recommend sending everybody to the Woomy dimension. I'm not going to use any of your magical energy, so you guys can use all your magics for other stuff. We can do it as much as we want. Gate stays open until I close it. That's a pretty huge advantage, and the window to use it, according to Byron, is shrinking. Plus, it's full of boobies.
Who doesn't want to spend their last hours there?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Is there like any kind of check that we could do? Do we think that is this like a force that would be led by a Chaos Lord that could be disrupted, or the way we disrupted Gaiad, or this might be a big ask
question. I will say, because you saw it, Byron, just make me an intelligence check.
Okay. Just straight intelligence is 16.
Okay. So from what you saw, and what you were able to garner from Minerva's visions, this army looks to be led by nothing. It just looks like a horde that is slowly marching towards you.
Okay. From what Minerva witnessed, it is a tide of destruction. You send something to this plane, or you corrupt it enough, it'll destroy anything that it sees without provocation, without command.
Can I make a recommendation?
Mm-hmm.
On Evelyn. Because my suspicion is that she is the storm.
Remy, it seems we are of two minds today. I was about to say that when Durukai left the thing that he had possessed in the caves, he had turned into a glowing cloud type thing of energy that looks rather similar.
Well, I don't know that, but I do know that we are on the same wavelength. So we're like that.
The blue flame. You remember it would float? It floated away.
I don't remember that.
Ew. Byron, I know you do. The blue flame.
Yes.
You know I'm right.
Remy has had many baths since then. Yes, quite possibly. She can act through the planes or push her forces without her presence being there. Maybe she can't truly leave Taskent.
Yes, because when Durukai didn't have a form to possess, he was the blue flame. So when he was in the body,
I do want to know what that storm is. At the very least, it seems important,
to say the least.
Smash cut to like Byron Captain Ahabing through the storm on his skyship.
Take the spear to the heart of you evil bitch.
Mo never got as close as she could. A small owl in that horde and in the storm was, I believed, unnoticed, but for us to get closer and see, it'd be difficult not to be seen.
Can we try a scry before we get any closer?
He like looks to Rose. Not till tomorrow.
Not until tomorrow.
Okay. Anybody else here can do it?
No. That was him like confirming he can't do it today.
No, yeah, but maybe we know somebody else in the keep who's a third level. Those third level spells.
Scry's 5th.
Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
You're thinking of sending.
Oh my!
I think he's sending his 3rd.
Yes.
There might be an old there might
Maybe
there might be an Olfinger who can do it.
But
they have to scry people that they know.
I guess that's true.
Or places.
Or you can get like.
Okay, here's a crazy thought. I'm gonna burn a 4th level spell slot and do ascending to Evelyn.
I guess that really just kind of accomplished the same goal.
No.
No, I can't.
Evelyn is too busy being a storm right now and can't reply.
If you wish to speak to a Chaos Lord, press 1.
It's like, sorry, I'm away from my desk or on the phone.
I'm away from the office right now, but I'll be back and able to take your call as soon as possible. No,
but actually, though, it's a deadline. When she tries.
Yeah, it's deadline.
Okay. So she's probably not on this plane.
She is definitely not on this plane.
Okay.
Probably.
Because she is a plane of existence herself.
Yeah.
Do we have any indication? Does any of us know anything that might indicate what the storm itself is?
Yes. Maybe.
Can we check?
You can make all kind of checks, yeah.
I mean, I'll try. It'd be really funny if I get it.
Can we roll ones? I got 23.
I got
I rolled a natural 1 on the floor.
You get to re-roll those.
And a normal natural 1.
Remy's like, I got it.
I got a 28.
We just need a really big fan.
Oh no, he's gonna fucking Sharknado this. He's like, we just need to throw a big fucking stick of dynamite in the center of the storm. I'll break it up. I got a 28 on my Arcana.
Okay. Well, the DC was 25, I was going to say. So thank fuck for that. Yeah, Al.
I inspired myself to do it.
Nice. So you do not think that the storm is a physical manifestation of Evelyn.
Okay.
You think that it's more like whenever you've seen chaos kind of take over someone, it's been like this kind of black and blue cloud that they kind of inhale, and it's this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So you think it is just like pure chaos energy that is, you know, it's like the ghost goo in Ghostbusters. I don't know if it's the second one or the first one, where it's like
ectoplasm,
just pure. Oh yeah, like the second one where it's like the pure badness running under. Yeah, it's just pure like chaos energy that is like
evil.
Yeah, it's essentially it's you know, it's the thing that is anchoring all of those creatures to the chaos and is the reason why, you know, anything that is, you know, overshadowed by that cloud turns to chaos.
And the only thing that Elishon knows that like disrupted that kind of chaos was the calm emotions, but I don't feel like trying to calm a storm that big.
That was, yeah. That was single target.
Yeah.
I choose one storm, 100 miles long. It is carved.
It's a zone. It's a zone. This is a zone of calm emotions.
Just smash cut to Elishan giving a cloud like a back rub, just being like, "It's okay, man."
Yeah.
I'm sensing a lot of tension here.
Or like the cloud like lying on a sofa and Elishan like with a clipboard, just like, yeah.
But tell me how that makes you feel.
Okay. I'm sorry, I got distracted. What was the result of the check?
It's pure chaos.
Pure chaos.
Not Evelyn, just corruption in its purest form rolling across the land.
All right. Well, we can't fight that.
Yeah, she shares that with the others.
There is no hitting that with a sword.
No. What
I
else?
say we fucking ride or die. That's it, man. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was because there wasn't anything else that worked against the chaos, right? I don't. Not in that form, at least.
I think there is too large a problem rolling across the horizon. I think we have to go to the source.
Yeah, I don't think this is something we can solve magically. And if
I mean, we do a couple of things really, really good. Most of them around killing shit and blowing stuff up. There's lots of smart people on this plane. I mean, send out the word. Put the Halls of Ivy to work on solving the problem as it comes their way.
When we killed Chaos Lords, creatures that were affected by that particular Chaos Lord seemed to be cured of that chaos. When we killed Durkai, Arthas and I got a little better. Vela got a little better. Same thing with Gurudan and
Federal.
I mean, I agree. Perhaps it's proximity, but you vanquish a Chaos Lord and those close get cured.
If Evelyn is the source of the chaos and there's no more Evelyn, then
there should be no more chaos.
We were told to destabilize a plane, weren't we? To destroy it.
For power.
It is something that we have very little experience of, and we don't know how time travels there or how quickly we could achieve it. I do think we need to get the word out, like Remy says, and then we need to travel quickly with those willing to travel with us.
Our mission is simple then. We give our people the best chance they have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Send a warning. Titty Island. Warn what leaders will hear us in the short time we have, and take the fight to Evelyn.
Mm-hmm.
That about sum it up?
That about sums it up. I have a bit of an idea. I don't know if it's dumb or not. So, thanks, disembodied. Thanks, inner voice of Elishan that gives her all of like her self-esteem issues.
The source of her stutter.
It sounds a lot like her dad. But if someone's there's you being stealthy and hiding or whatever, and then there's also going undetected because you're ethereal. But being ethereal means you're in the ethereal plane. Do I think that we could be in the ethereal plane on Duskent? The ethereal plane is supposed to overlap everything, but is that possible? To Inception planar travel.
Oh man, you have to ask this question today.
I mean, I'm trying to think of how we can get through Duskent without being noticed. And I don't think Pass Without a Trace, which is something we don't have, is going to cut it.
Yeah.
Your probe's right.
So there are definitely spells that, like, the thing. I don't know if it specifically makes you invisible to outsiders or something, but there's got to be some cleric spells. Non-detection is definitely one.
Yeah, non-detection is a cleric spell that you can't be scryed, but
I think
you
it's
can only
a wizard
cast that
spell.
on like one person. It lasts 8 hours, so it use up a lot of
Right.
those spell slots to do.
A bunch of spell slots. Well, so we'd want to bring as many people as we possibly could. So
Yes, if it was more than us, it would take a lot of spell slots. I'm not sure if there's if there's something beyond that, but
It's like oil of etherealness is
okay.
not
So as per
wow.
Dimg,
Your robot on me, Rob. I can't understand a word you're saying.
I got everything you
It's
said.
fine, yeah.
Essentially.
God damn it! See,
Everybody's roboting me.
Oh.
Hold on, let me refresh. Everybody's roboting.
Maybe we're just robots.
maybe
It's Evelyn destroy material. I'm gonna be right back for a second.
Evelyn just turns up. Your clothes.
That's why she's obsessed with Elishon and Arthas.
Okay, so
She wants to be her own grandma.
God.
Sorry.
Okay. The DMG, the ethereal plane overlaps the material plane and the inner planes, and the inner planes are the 4 elemental planes,
So
which means that it would not overlap with Daskent.
Okay, good. I mean, not good.
Avoid the shit out of that.
I mean, I have greater invisibility, and I could cast it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us if I use my 8th level spell slot to do it.
that also only lasts a minute.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Better. So if we're looking to traverse the plane quickly, in regular invisibility would work better, and we'd have to teleport wherever we were going because it's probably a very big place.
Yeah. Because we're not entirely sure where. I mean, Elishon has seen this castle or whatever that we think it might be, but I don't know how well how close to it the door is going to bring us whenever we go through.
So yeah, you kind of had the insight into, or more of an insight into the kind of dimensions of Daskent, and it seems like the entire plane, I guess, being Evelyn, is bent to her will. So like, you couldn't get close to the castle because she didn't want you to, and so you're basically walking on a treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to manipulate the plane to her will. So, to be honest, Elishon, you probably think like size is less of an issue, just because the distance could be infinite or it could be infinitesimal, depending on Evelyn's whim.
So we really have no idea how to kill a plane, right?
Yeah, and so like if Evelyn is like the entire place, is there really a place in Daskent we need to go to do something, or is it just kind of we need to get there to destabilize her?
So I believe the Algar kind of said, like, you know, every world's got a core, like our world has a core, and if you destroy Evelyn's core, then there's no way she'd be able to keep Daskent together. And
but doing something like that, like destroying the core of a plane, I can't do that with my sword. We have artifact, right?
Potential.
If we find the right place for you to hit with a sword, it may well work.
Yeah, that is the connotations you were given, though, you know, you don't really know how expert the planar Goliaths are in actually destroying planes. But
kind of seems like they would be the opposite at doing that.
I mean, a firefighter knows how to set a real good fire.
True.
Yeah.
True. I just go in there and cast calm emotions
Until
until she fails her charisma. Until she fails her charisma check.
Just like Evelyn just starts crying. It's so stressful.
She's just lonely. No, that won't work.
I mean,
No.
Nope.
so we have a magical artifact here, yeah?
I'll pull out the key.
We get everybody out of here. And then first thing tomorrow, after everybody picks their spells, gets the rest, I just use the key and say, take me to the core and see what happens.
I just had a horrible, wonderful, awful idea. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't. Byron,
Yes.
we have 2 bags of holding. And I think you know as well as I what happens when you mix the 2.
Yes.
What do you think that might do to a plane that is also a living being?
Wait. What happens when you put 2 bags of holding together?
I believe if you put a bag of holding within a bag of holding within another bag of holding, they both sort of implode, ripping a chunk of the plane into the astral plane.
I mean, that sounds pretty potent.
Just wanted to check.
Very, very bad things happen. They're not meant to do that. It's something they teach you in the halls so that, dumb kids don't do that.
Yeah. Out of character, placing a bag of holding inside another bag of holding, or have a handy haversack or a portable hole, a similar item destroys both items, opens up a gate to the astral plane. The gate originates where the one item placed inside the other. Any creature within 10 feet of the gate is sucked through it to a random location on the astral plane. The gate then closes. It is one way and cannot be reopened. I seem to remember there was some sort of explosion damage. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember that, but looking at it, it doesn't say anything about that.
That's strange. I thought there was like a
Yeah.
some sort of implosion damage. It could work if we find whatever is necessary and we perform that wherever is necessary. We might be able to suck the core of the plane into the astral plane, which is infinite as far as all learning is considered. That might be enough to destabilize the plane. Of course, the initial damage, I think, is within 10 feet or so. That is something that I could manage at a distance. So destabilizing the plane that you are currently in while being in it might pose some difficulties.
Sorry, I just saw the link that you put in the Google and the Hangouts, Dylan, and that is beautiful.
It's pretty cool, right?
It's for
yeah, I've seen that.
Okay.
Ago, yeah.
Do you think that might work? I mean, I can't really think of any kind of magic that we could learn within a day or 2 that would help us, but maybe there's somebody at the halls.
I mean,
what about Lathander, huh? Can we talk to Lathander and see if he wants to give us a holy artifact that blows up planes? Seems reasonable to me.
I mean,
Try again in a week. No, wait, 5 days. It's been 5 days since your last miracle.
I mean, I can certainly pray.
You can just pray to him, man. Yeah, just talk to him.
And see if he answers my prayers.
Maybe in the next 4 days, he's willing to. Maybe we can do a quest for Lathander and get a weapon and blow up Tuscan with it.
I really should have been more careful about the stories I gave you.
What, is that not something he does? I mean,
yes.
I thought I read them right.
It doesn't always work that way. We're not brave heroes riding off to slay a monster.
We're not?
Not entirely.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty mythological shit that's ever happened to anybody.
I mean, if Lathander was going to bless us, this would be the time for him to bless us.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, what's the point of worshiping a god here and spreading his name if he's not going to save your planet? Yeah, peace and salvation in the hereafter, I guess, but you know what I'm saying.
Perhaps he doesn't want it saved.
Well, you might want to reevaluate your employment in that case.
Yeah, we're getting a bit off track.
I'm sorry.
It's a good thought, Remy. We should definitely ask whoever we can for help. And in some cases, that involves asking gods.
What was the god of sacrifice's name again?
Arame.
Arame.
Yes. I was going to. I don't know if she's strong enough for stuff like this, but you know, we're definitely willing to sacrifice in order to see this plane saved. But
Rose, do you perhaps want to, speak to Lathander, spend some time in contemplation, and Alashan, do you want to speak to Arame, and Remy and I could go speak to the Nations of Lament to be ready, and then when we return, we go.
Yeah, we can try that.
About how to destabilize a plane. If they are gods, they may well have made a plane. They might know how to see its end. I know. I might find something in their archives. The Halls of Ivy. I might not.
Maybe a portable hole or some other type of planar device that we can use to blow large chunks out of Taskent.
I can ask acquisitions, certainly.
As many bags of holdings as they can spare.
Oh man.
It comes back like Rambo. There's like bags of holdings on bandoliers all over him, and like one tied around his head. And
yeah, so what I'm now picturing, though,
come to bargain.
Yeah. what I'm picturing is like a bag of holding, and then like another one that's been like kind of sealed with wax, kind of like wrapped around it. Then we can melt the wax and let the first bag of holding fall in to the one that was sealed up, and just kind of like a magnesium bomb. Like, you know, they kind of just the layer melts and then the thing drops in and then it goes. Boom. So we have a little bit of a time delay, but without shooting an arrow.
So the other thing I just thought of is if we do the bag of holding thing, the trick of it is if the damage is not great enough to destroy it, it just gets sucked someplace else, which might temporarily cause a problem, or it might cause moving the plane into the atmosphere.
I mean, Barnes presuming if we found whatever a core of a plane is, and you suck it into the astral plane in some way, which is practically infinite, and it could be anywhere. it might destabilize the plane not having a core anymore, and it might take a while to find that core, if anything survived.
Was Evelyn ever a person?
Mm-hmm.
That like she's become like this plane or whatever, so she's still able to be killed. She just doesn't have like a body in like.
No, you've seen her manifest in a humanoid shape.
She's fucking Doramus then, basically. She's just a big gribbly nonsense that sometimes has tits.
You could put it like that if you so felt like it.
Okay. So it's not like, we have to worry about like, her wandering by and, seeing our Metal Gear Solid cardboard boxes disguises that say ship to Duskent, loading dock C.
We have no idea where the secret gate might bring us, but as you've discussed, when she doesn't want anyone to go anywhere, then they don't go anywhere. But hopefully, if we're out of her attention, we could travel where we wish, to an extent.
Right. So I guess we should go take care of our information gathering. Get ourselves some options. We can hash things out until the storm is upon us, but until we have like anything that we can actually make sound decisions on. Elishon says, trying to be a little bit more Byron-like.
Oh my!
Aren't we all?
At the end of the world, everyone becomes Byron. Agreed. We have a few days of preparation, a few days of survival. Spend them wisely. And then he just clicks his fingers and Remy and Byron disappear as they teleport to Byron.
Remy's still in his bathrobe.
Yes. Yes, I hoped he would be.
So where are you guys heading?
We're going to talk to Thrisk to marshal the troops, as it were, but also to say that we need help evacuating. Potentially, well. If I could take like a team of mages with me that all can cast, a teleportation circle, I think it means we could get a lot of people out very quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have
you arrive outside the halls, kind of scuttle inside.
I stride like Remy scuttles in his towel,
scuttle like little weasels inside, and head for Thrisk's office. You knock on the door and there's no response, but you do hear the sound of snoring coming from inside.
Grand Archivist Thrisk.
Remy starts banging on the door.
Thrisky, wake up! Time to drink!
Still nothing. But snoring.
Open the door, potentially.
You see what can only be described as a gluttonous feast laid out on his desk. Like a whole chicken that's just been ravaged. Like 3/4 of a cherry pie missing. Souffles. Just like a whistle-stop tour of all that is greed, and all that is the greed and gluttony of Vyros, really. And kind of in front of all that is Thrisk, kind of lying, his hands resting on his bulbous belly, snoring away, open mouth, with a half bottle of brandy sitting next to the enormous amount of food on his desk.
Remy will shuffle over next to him and kind of pull himself up next to his face and put his finger on his nose, close his nose.
The mouse just like keeps breathing. He doesn't even wake.
I'll breathe.
So eventually he kind of.
There he is.
What is the meaning of this?
It's the end of the world, Frisky. Focus.
I've conducted vital research.
Clear.
I resent this interruption.
He kind of like flounders and crumbs
Frisk,
kind of fall out for like half.
You and I are buddies, but very dangerous man.
And I'm going to reach into my bathrobe and pull out of mysterious places a magical dagger.
Now you better focus up, because death is coming for everyone and everything. And this little feast you got before you, well, that's going to dry up real fast. No more feasts for Frisky. So you better focus. And while he tells you the problem you can help us with. Got it?
What is the meaning of this?
And he looks up at Byron.
As Remy says, perhaps the end of the world comes for us. Upon the horizon, on the hinterlands, there is a storm of proportions I've never seen, nor witnessed, nor seen archived tale of. It is chaos. Thunder, lightning, purple and blue hues mask an army. A tide of monstrosities warped. That which was Drake, that which was dragon, which was giant and hobgoblin, and evil twisted foe alike. It marches from north to south, with little sign of stopping. They are 4 days north of where we call home, of where a great many call home. They don't seem to be led by any mortal general. They are just wanton destruction. However, we believe they are coerced, motivated, and directed by Evelyn, Queen of Chaos, from her plane Das Ghent. We presume to go there within the coming days. We may die. We may also see her plane shattered, and what commands this horde disseminated, dissolved. However, we need time. The free peoples of Lament, elf, dwarf, human, they need to be ready. Halflings. Good point. They need to be ready.
Films, though. Sorry.
He looks at you with this strange kind of half frown, half like terrified expression. He says,
What am I to do?
The end of time's come.
Well, so...
You go.
First thing.
Sorry, you're kind of breaking up for me. Making it hard.
Yeah.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It's just I don't get all the words, so I don't know when you're starting to
The first
speak.
thing is what I heard.
I told him to sober up.
Sober up. Okay. I didn't get that. Yes. Grand Archivist Thrisk, we must implore everybody, all members of the halls, all standing armies, all mercenaries, they must gather. I fear it is too late for Frosthaven, but Balern, Dalgaral, the Hildorf.
Trest is further north, though.
Okay, Trest. There needs to be a defensive effort made. We need to convince people. They need to see what I see, I don't. Just for effect, and with I don't know if it is with illusions or not. Perhaps like I can like bring Minerva and like his hand placed upon Minerva's head, and then he either like places it on Thrisk, and he can just directly impart the memories, or he like opens his hand and just displays the tumbling horde that is moving towards you.
Very easily, like, give an impression and show exactly what he can expect.
He gives him a taste of what is coming. We need time. You need to give us it. Call the council. We have little time to spare, but we can talk to them.
He sort of like has this kind of deep, kind of pained breathing that's partially due to the enormous amount of fat pressing on his lungs, partially due to his overfull stomach, and partially due to the terror rising in his chest. And he sort of like gazes up at you with these kind of wide eyes with like visible rings of fat around the irises. He says,
This is a lot to take in.
Sort of like slowly reaches for the bottle of brandy.
Put his knife away and take the brandy away. And
say, well, look at it this way. You've lived a good life up till now. You help us, maybe get to go on living it a little while longer. And if not, it's been a good ride.
I'm going to smash it on the ground.
Now sober the fuck up! Do your goddamn job.
I will call an emergency convening of the council if that is what you require.
Good man, Frisky.
I'll slap him on the ass.
and he is sitting down, but his ass is so large that it hangs over the sides of the chair. And he sort of jumps again. And we'll just like cut to, 10 minutes later.
Sure.
Like
the council.
The rest of the grand archivists and arbiters all kind of enter the council chamber, stand in the at the far end of the table.
Arbiters, archivists, all of those grand of their name. We bring grim tidings of the end of the world. And Byron like expands his arms and then casts whatever illusion spell necessary and basically projects into the room a larger spell than he did to Thrisk, more detailed perhaps, maybe with the added noise of this churning, roiling, chaotic tide of destruction that is coming south. Queen Evelyn marches on our plane. This has been the end of many planes before it. But we have warning. We have hope. I and the friends that I hold seek to travel to her plane, to the plane of Desghent, and destabilize it, ruin her, maybe even destroy what is there that might give us chance of survival. But as we have told Thrisk before you, we need time. Rally the good people of Lament, of all races, and see them taken north to hold back this threat. We hold a citadel at Frosthaven, maybe not for much longer. If you have any advice on how to destroy a plane, now would be the time to speak.
there's this sort of murmuring throughout the room, and you can tell that it's sort of slipping into that classic kind of arbiter archivist that so many discussions and like important conversations have been derailed by, when one man kind of stands up and everyone kind of falls silent and looks up at him, and he's this kind of fairly tall but extremely skinny Ashari man, and you would know him as Arbiter Kandri. Put that in the chat for you. Or Grand Arbiter Kandri. And he sort of steps forward and says, I cannot give you advice on how to destroy a plane, but we have watched from the sidelines as many have fallen into poverty, into death, whatever it may be. But we have done nothing but protect ourselves. It is time to change. And he has that sort of Ashari way of speaking where even though he says something of severe gravitas, he says it very matter-of-factly.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, whatever you would have of me and those beneath me, you shall have. And kind of like following his example, the rest of the archivists and arbiters kind of sound off in agreement. Sort of, and many of them kind of look sheepish at their sort of like clear attempts to try and protect their own interests initially. And Thrisk kind of leans forward in his chair, not standing though, like several of the others. It says,
Mr. Rutherford, it seems that the might of the halls of Ivy is at your disposal. But, well, I know you are struggling to think of a way to destroy the plane itself. This is unheard of. I do not believe it is something you will be able to do.
Said I do not believe it is something you are able to do.
yes.
Remy will spit on the ground of this very lovely place and say,
You got a better idea?
He shakes his head.
There is no record of anything that has ever destabilized this plane.
The records we have that even refer to this plane are minimal. The very idea of destabilizing an entire plane is preposterous.
we were told by the Goliaths that
Yes, that's on next.
could be done, right?
I don't know if they suggest. I mean, I think
They did.
thought something. Yeah, they thought it could be done. I'm not sure they have a practical way of doing it, but it is on next stop. But I thought I would ask. Very well. There is one last thing I have to ask of you. Beyond rallying your magical might and those of the other halls, beyond imploring the kings and queens and rulers of this land to move their troops to fight this tide, that it will destroy us all if gone unchecked, you have to save the people of Frosthaven. We've gathered many to our banner, and they do not deserve the fate that comes for them in 3 to 4 days' time. Some of you have been, some of you have underlings that know of this place. if you could teleport there and see that circles are set up to retreat our people to safer holdings.
I will see it done myself, Kandri says.
Thank you. Was it Grand Archivist or Grand Arbiter?
Arbiter.
Grand Arbiter Quandary. Quandary?
Mm-hmm.
You have my eternal gratitude.
He just gives you like a curt nod. This man, from your experience, is a doer rather than a sayer, if that makes sense.
Why he's an arbiter, not an archivist.
Correct.
Yeah. Byron nods, and he looks across the perhaps shaking council. Do what you can, for we do not have long to do it. Then he places a hand upon his semi-naked and mostly damp friend, and then teleports out of the halls. If they allow that kind of thing.
Awesome. In the meantime, then, quickly jump over. What's Rose and Elle doing?
Rose is probably in her temple. She's been asked by the surprisingly wise Remy to seek the council of Lathander. So she is going to be doing that.
Very well.
I can cast Commune if that's something that, as a ritual, and I get my 3 questions, right?
Yep. Go for it.
I should have thought this one out. No. Can we destabilize this plane? Or Daskant?
I was going to say Beefus.
Got this.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Do we already possess the means to do it?
The means are not physical, but means of will. And do you possess those means, Rose?
If there was ever a time for God to be specific.
Is that why you called me North?
There is I suppose it's not really a conversation as such, but you kind of feel a pronounced pause before the answer comes. And then, yes, it is.
All right. And then Rose will probably just sit in silence until someone comes for her.
What's Elle doing?
Well, Alishan would probably be in what remains of the memorial that we built for Tavi. There's probably not a whole.
It's less than 10 days, so
Yeah.
the temple is still there.
Is
to
it?
some
Okay.
degree.
I wasn't
Shrine.
sure. I wasn't sure how much of it would be still there. But yeah, that's where she would be. And she doesn't have a spell on which to commune with Arame, but she'll take out the little dove pin with the olive branch and just kind of like sit and stare at it for a bit and say, kind of, it feels weird to pray to someone that she's met physically, the way that she used to pray to Saloon. And so she just kind of like hold the holy symbol and like think of Arame and the, like how she appeared whenever we met her and all the other things.
And you feel this sort of warmth kind of lightly caress your cheek and chin, almost like she's running her hand on your face, but if you open your eyes, there's nothing there. But through that, you know that she's with you.
I'm not entirely sure if you can speak to me, but we're trying to do what we've set out to do, to defeat Evelyn, and there are a lot of people in the way that might get hurt before we can see things through. People who have already lost a lot helping us. The giants and the Elfanger. People of Belern that are still in our forests trying to find their way home. And the people that came up north here trying to find a better life. And we hope to help provide it. If there's anything that you could do to help, if not us, at least them.
Again, you feel this sort of warm, light feeling kind of enshroud you. And while you don't receive a verbal or necessarily physical response, there is that kind of remaining spiritual warmth that gives you a bit of comfort, though inexplicable and intangible. It almost gives you this kind of extra dose of hope that seems to shine through a little bit more on the encroaching darkness.
I needed that. Thank you.
Very well. I think we will jump to Bremy, Ryron, either way. We'll jump to you guys, and then I think
I like Bremy as like a couple name.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, that's cute.
Better than Ryron. Yeah, so we were teleporting to the Goliath, basically.
Yeah.
Ryron sounds like a speech impediment.
Yes.
Ryron.
Bremy is intentional, at least. So we appear somewhere.
Yeah. So you appear. You can't. I don't think you can teleport straight into Goliath Town. So you kind of teleport just to the outskirts, and
it's fucking cold up here, Byron. I would have appreciated putting on a different outfit.
Is that like waiting for the grand door to open or something? Standing side by side. Yes, I was perhaps a little eager in my wishes to tell such grave news.
Yeah, well, consider.
I could make an illusion. probably wouldn't help.
Oh, it's not my shame that's bothered. It's just, it's cold. God, we'll consider it comeuppance for bailing on you guys and getting laid for a couple hours. It's fine.
I could prestidigitate his robe and warm him up a little bit.
I
mean, you could, but whether or not Byron would,
it feels like a little weird. Like being a towel, like a towel warmer for at the end of the world. Our business should be concluded soon.
Yeah, let's hope. Hold it over there. I'm in my bathrobe.
And so you see the kind of like enormous topless Goliath muscle men like pulling open the door, and you're led back up through by Vorus. And he kind of, well, where would you guys be asking to go, I suppose?
Is Vorus the only one still left?
There's, it seems like everyone's kind of all hands on deck, and this box is being moved and everything. It looks like they're moving.
Are we able to speak to Vorus and whoever the priest was? I can't remember his name because you gave it once. Is he still around, and can I talk to him?
Yes, the mage guy is, but I gotta find him.
Cleric priest dude.
Mashuk? Yeah. Mashuk. Yeah, so you can find him. And he is like packing up in his kind of small house. And if you remember, he's kind of a weedy dude for a Goliath.
Yeah, small for him.
Yeah.
We have grave news. I believe Evelyn moves upon this plane even as you aim to retreat from it. We have two major asks of you. One, have you any record of the end of the worlds that you have retreated from previously? Do they start with a storm and with a tide of corrupted, mutated individuals?
We do not need records to say this is the end. This is how it always happens.
And that's Vora saying that.
Okay.
How do you kill a plane?
Second thing we have is that one of the denizens wreak havoc upon our plane. Surely the attention of Evelyn is drawn elsewhere. Perhaps the guards and the host that she keeps, maybe perhaps on Daskent, are here. Daskent is vulnerable. You spoke of destruction of the plane before. We now come to you to ask how.
We were going to put the core inside 2 bags of holding.
We have an idea. There is magic on this plane, magic for items of storage. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but you place 2, one within the other, and it rips a catastrophic hole into the astral plane. Place, as far as we know, is infinite. Do you believe if we found whatever the core is of Daskent that we could rip it from its plane, send it into the infinite void, and that Daskent may be weakened, even destroyed?
Marshall kind of thinks for a moment.
This could work, but from what we've seen of Daskent previously, it is known that when she splits, the two
halves find a way back together by expanding as she is wont to do. I don't know if your idea will work, but I believe that the best way, maybe the only way, to ensure that Daskent is destroyed for real is to collapse it on itself rather than break it apart.
How do we do that?
I have a theory, but I have no proof. Kind of like looks a little bit ashamed of that.
Well, we would be happy to test your theory for you, free of charge.
Anyone who has ever traveled to Daskent has seen one thing in common. The Black Castle. I do not believe anyone has ever gone there, but anyone who has always sees the same thing. They describe it exactly alike. I believe that wherever Evelyn's heart may be, I believe it is stored there. I believe that whatever keeps her going, allows her to grow and expand, allows her to wreak the havoc that she does, I believe it can be found there. And that is why no one has ever been there. Because if someone were, they could discover how to destroy her.
Good enough for me. I mean, again, we were operating on very little information, so happy to test that out for you.
It is merely conjecture at this point, though. But I hope you agree that it is not unfounded.
I mean, you're talking to a man with no pants on, so I gotta take what I can get, right?
Pants are overrated.
Wise words.
Remy just suddenly views this man as a sage.
Oh, yes. So true.
Well traveled, sir.
This is something for us to work on. If we can attempt to reach the fort, the citadel, we will see what is within. See if we can collapse it. You said the key to traveling there, it takes a minute or two, so it'll get us there. And if we were to collapse the plane while we were there, we might not have enough time to escape. We might
looks up to Byron and says,
if we die together. That's okay.
Byron would remember that Elishan has probably mentioned several times that she has plane shift. That is invitation.
I know.
I can plane shift, guys.
Oh, guys, I can plane shift. Elishan has said it like 5 times in the last couple of sessions, and it's like really fucking annoying. It's like, you know.
Well, that gets into like mechanics, though. We don't know how
yes. Yes, you have plane shift. And Byron, actually, because I studied, has plane shift, but I was just wondering if they had anything. Just why I was posing it that way.
I see.
I was just making sure that the key was a one-way in and out, perhaps. Do you have any way of conducing the implosion of the plane that you wish? Do you think the key could be used if we were to plunge it into the heart or reverse its power somehow, that it would lock the plane or destroy it?
Maybe maybe separating Evelyn from her heart. Maybe that would break it. Maybe it would spread her even further. I have no way of knowing.
Very well. As you said, unfounded conjecture, theories, hypotheses, the basis of academia.
Remy just
yes.
Nods.
Like Remy said, we might be able to gather some practical data for you. Whether we can actually tell you of our achievements or not is to be seen.
Sorry, I don't have more.
That is fine. I suppose I cannot expect much from those people here. We are just mortal after all. He says that with almost, like an element of regret or something. Thank you for the information that you could lend us. Vorus, if you have, I think teleport takes like 8 people or something. If you have a few people that may wish to travel ahead of your party to scope out the nature of this storm, of the encroaching army, you can travel with us. If you have your own methods of transport and your own plans, then feel free.
We will make our own way. Thank you.
Well, see you at the end of the world.
Yeah, good luck on the planes. You ever been to Big Titty Island?
I think as that sentence is kind of like halfway through or just finishing, we just teleport. You ever made a big titty? Yeah.
And then just afterwards, there's like a moment of silence, and then Mashok just like turns to Forrest and is like, it's been a while. But I think that's a good place to end it there.
Yeah, I gotta wrap it up.